Okay, get ready for a pretty amazing story that includes this judge, Judge Leslie Alden, putting me in jail for contempt of court as part of my divorce case. And she gave me a 1-year sentence. Now, the instant I stepped into the courtroom and saw her, I knew I was dead in the water. So we'll get back to this. Okay, time to get a glass of wine or your favorite beverage. Sit back, relax, get ready for an amazing story. As some of you know who have been following this, my 24-year-old daughter, Maddie, has come out with another video telling the world that I abandoned the family.
Can you kind of
So this guy is Ben Hart. He's the breakdancing dad whose daughter made a video basically calling him a deadbeat. And then he made a video responding saying, like, I'm no deadbeat. Like, I lived right down the road. Your mom basically kept you from me. Well, he doesn't really harp on that, but that's clearly what happened. But she doesn't interpret that. She must have been poisoned by the evil mother to believe that. Because, like, and this guy's got tons of money, paid like a crap ton of child support, like about 5 million worth of child support or something, and was paying with like a lot of stuff. So she was just dead wrong, and she was clearly doing it for clout. So the dad didn't want to make a video, but he was getting so much people reaching out to him that he figured he should. And he did.
explain a little bit of the controversy?
Of course. Okay, so for anybody who is listening who doesn't know me, which is probably most people because I'm literally not famous.
Millions of
unfortunately-
followers.
Unfortunately, though, I have become semi-famous literally just in like Republican hate circles.
That's not remotely true. It's so weird, this ridiculous thing that people do to like play the victim. They just, oh, it's Republicans, it's Nazis, it's the alt-right, it's the far right. It's like, no, this is just like regular people. You think like very politically active people give a crap about you? They don't.
Most recently, I made a video about my dad because my dad abandoned my family when I was little and he like went on to become a pretty famous breakdancer.
Ooh, the pit hair.
And I made a video that was like very funny, tongue-in-cheek about that.
No, that's not true at all. It was not like tongue-in-cheek. You're calling him like a deadbeat weirdo because the guy, I don't know if he was like a millionaire before he was breakdancing, but this guy's a multi-millionaire and he was in his kid's life. She basically claimed that he wasn't in their life, and he like posted all these like videos and stuff, that like home video that he had taken. He's like, I was actively in their life like all the time. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I would have liked to have been in their life more, but like I had a busy career and like their mom had custody. So
But because my
it was not this lighthearted thing. She was a complete asshole to her dad.
dad is like a huge Republican, huge Bitcoiner, like he's so bizarre. He has this sort of cultish following around him.
God.
And in
No, it's not that he has a cultish following at all, right? Like, no one has heard of this breakdancing bald man before this happened. No one. Yeah, you can pull up a clip of him being on Good Morning America. Maybe like 10 people had heard of him prior. But no, it's you were a complete piece of shit asshole to your dad. You slandered him in a video for clout. Just to like make yourself more interesting because you don't have a personality. You want to be like, you know, famous. So you're just, you know, you want your TikTok to blow up. So you're throwing your dad under the bus, literally lying about him. That is complete scum BS, dude. So yeah, you're going to get backlash. You put yourself online and you're doing one of the scummiest things that you can do. Completely lying about your, like, your family. Making up lies about your family or perpetuating lies that if you sat and thought about for 2 seconds, you would know are complete lies. Like, yeah, people are going to be really upset about that and they're going to leave comments. Oh no, you got rude comments. Boo hoo, such a victim.
In the video that he posted, he's like wearing a Bitcoin t-shirt. He has an American flag behind him. Like, he's like, oh, and then Elon Musk responded to my dad's video being like, you're awesome. Like, you're an awesome dad. You're awesome. So that got all of the Elon Musk fans after me.
Now, Elon Musk does have some devoted fans. He's like the wealthiest man on Earth. One of the most famous people on Earth. So it's so weird when people just assume that other people have this like cult like following. Even Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump has never had high approval ratings. The Democratic Party hates him. The Republican Party hates him. Like, the huge majority of people do not like the guy at all. Even look at the like January 6th thing. It wasn't all that many people. Like, the people who were actually like truly dedicated, not the people who just like lackadaisically wandered into the Capitol building, but like the people who are actually like breaking windows and stuff and causing havoc. It's like a handful of people. Like, it's so bizarre when people attribute like any kind of like backlash to anything. It's just, oh, they just have this cult following them, worshiping them. Like, yeah, there's celebrity worship and people worship Elon Musk and it's super cringe, but it's not like Elon Musk like was like, oh, screw this blonde girl, let's send this targeted harassment. No. He saw this dad being treated like shit because you were treating him like shit. And he's like, man, like, stay positive, dude.
It was sort of just a whole controversial moment in my life.
So this should be your screenplay.
Like, that should be the reaction that anyone has to this breakdancing dad. Is like, yeah, that's really crappy that your scumbag daughter would do that. That's horrible. Like, she would attack your reputation to try to elevate hers for no reason other than some internet clout. It's so gross. It's greasy. This woman's disgusting. So yeah, people are having an appropriate reaction to that.
Right?
America went super viral, etc., etc. But she added that he wouldn't pay her medical bills. Then comes Ben, stage name Benihana, with a 10-minute reaction video and some pretty good-natured corrections. He claimed he lived close by after the divorce, did pay medical bills, child support.
Oh yeah, the dad was pretty chill, and he's like, yeah, no one sent hate to my daughter. She's just incorrect. Like, me and my daughter, like, we're pretty good. We don't have the best relationship, but we have a relationship. This is pretty random and weird. She's just wrong about all of this.
Put money into a college fund to the tune of around $5 million all in all to cover the cost of the kids, and said he saw his kids off.
Man, he looks like that guy, what's the movie where the kid's like magnetic? It's not Casper. Powder. He looks like Powder.
When they were growing up. But he did admit that from his daughter's perspective as a 5-year-old, it might seem like abandonment.
Or like
but
Uncle
in his
Fester.
opinion, it was not a totally accurate account. Whilst we watch this father-daughter union play out in real time, obviously Elon Musk weighs in to tell...
They should bring this guy on Wednesday to be like, do the fake Uncle Fester thing again, but use this guy.
Ben, you're awesome. I didn't even know. But this has got me thinking. Ben is getting absolutely dragged online with people calling him a deadbeat dad and like loads of other grim stuff. And these internet
I mean, he can breakdance. It would make so much sense to cast him in that. Have him do his breakdance thing. I don't know. Write it, people. Write
call
it.
out fair. I've seen these happen time and time again, and it always turns out that there's another side to the story. Would we feel differently if Ben was less of a comic character, or was just like less good-natured about the whole thing? Would she still have posted it if she knew he was going to see it? But whatever your thoughts are on internet call-outs, I think we can all agree with this comment.
And people who call me bald, I'm going to show you that hair. Look at that. Just because I choose to, like, I buzz my own hair with clippers. Just because I choose to not have hair doesn't mean that I don't have hair.
Benihana does unfortunately go so crazy.
With this like breakdancing dad stuff, it's so bizarre and it's so ridiculous. And like, yeah, like I literally am writing a screenplay about it. Like, and I've been working on that screenplay for like months.
How do you like tolerate this? Do you just like block it out?
The dad stuff is the worst because it's like my actual real life. So honestly, the dad controversy has been the hardest to deal with because like it is hard having people in my comments who don't know anything being like, your dad is awesome.
Well, your dad is awesome because he thoroughly explains the situation, whereas you don't. You're a terrible daughter. Your dad is an awesome dad. Is he the best dad ever? No. He literally, mostly what makes him such a good dad is that he stands up for you in a video that's critical of you, and he says that he wished he could have been a bigger part of your life, right? So the fact that he can see and acknowledge his shortcomings as a father kind of is exactly why he's a good dad. You're just really ditzy and you can't understand the situation at all.
So I need to supply more information about this saga. Information that Maddie and the kids probably have not heard before. As I've said, I don't really blame my daughter for these very inaccurate videos that she's been putting out. I put the blame on her mom, my ex-wife, Betsy. Now let me recap what's
Oh, barf.
happened so far for those of you who have missed it. Then we'll delve deeper into some of the crazier stuff that I've skipped over. Okay, here's a quick recap.
I will not get YouTube Premium.
What makes
I
my
will
home
not use ad
valuable?
blockers.
Okay, I wake up at 6 a.m. to do some work. I get my coffee. I sit down. I open my computer. And what am I greeted with? Well, hundreds of comments calling me a deadbeat dad, a child abandoner, and all manner of other insults. So I think, what's this all about?
I'm going to skip ahead past the recap. Just tons of content of him, like, with his kids. He probably goes, like, throughout their entire
And
life.
if you'd like to see the first two videos on
Yeah, he
this
does.
saga, I've linked to those below. Now, honestly, I thought I had overcome all this brainwashing of the kids by my ex-wife. I thought I had a great relationship with my daughters, especially since they became adults. Everything was going fine, I thought. Here we were last Christmas, 90 days ago. We all had a great time. I even thought I was getting along fine with my ex-wife, Betsy. Just last year, I swung by her house to pick up the kids for dinner. One of the kids was late, was out with a friend or something, so Betsy invited me to come into the house for a glass of wine. 3 of the kids were there, and we had a perfectly fine conversation. Perfectly pleasant.
I get the impression that maybe maybe this daughter who's making these videos, like, it is possible that, like, she's in therapy or something, and the cliche is always right, or it's not always right, but it can often be right most of the time. It's right in the sense that it's an accurate cliche. Cliches are cliches for a reason. That's because they happen, like, most of the time, or often enough. So the cliche is that, like, psychiatrists blame the parents for everything, and I think that could be the situation there, is where just everything's being blamed. Every problem that each of the, like, children has is somehow being magically, like, blamed on the dad, even though it doesn't make any sense. And just they buy into it. Just this daughter in particular just, like, full on buys into it. And hopefully the other children, they just kind of humor the daughter who's making the videos, where they're like, yeah, right on, like, you know, because part of being there for somebody is being a good listener. And if someone says something like that and it's completely false, they're totally, like, looking at it wrong, usually what you would do is you would point it out, but in, like, the most subtle, non-confrontational way. So you wouldn't tell them flat out, like, that's total BS, like, you're crazy, that doesn't make any sense, right? You can do that, but you're going to be better off. It's going to have a bigger effect if you say something like, well, maybe you, like, point out 1 or 2 things of what they're saying and, like, why and how it's wrong. And then maybe in their head, hopefully, if they have any kind of critical thinking skills, they can, like, reach the point you want them to reach themselves, because just telling them outright the reality is going to be too shocking for most people, because then the responsibility falls onto them. And to them being ultimately maybe not the cause of their issues, but maybe it's more of just like nothing tangible being the cause of their issues is more frightening to them, or even them themselves being the cause of their issues is more frightening to them, harder to accept than, oh, it was just my dad because, you know, he wasn't there despite him not having custody. Like, my take on this situation is that his piece of crap wife might be kind of friendly now that the kids are adults where custody doesn't matter, but she wanted this giant amount of child support from him. So she was probably keeping them from him as much as she possibly could. The kids just don't realize that. So it's hard, right? Like, you got to understand from his perspective that it's like the most unwelcoming situation imaginable, where the mom is being as competitive, as big as a piece of shit as she possibly can, to make this guy feel the most unwelcome, to cause as much conflict in this man's life as possible, right? And that's what I believe is going on here. Obviously, this entire story, we lack so much information, but just I think that's a pretty fair assessment. And then the mom uses that, even though it's like way later, they're adults, she still holds that like bitterness and hatred for this man for like no reason, and just can't let it go. She can't move on with her life. She just continues to be a loser and spew her hatred towards this man even to her children, and they're buying into it. It's gross, it's disgusting. It's so bad for the kids too, that their mother couldn't just show like a little bit of love and compassion towards this man. She just couldn't. She just is so wrapped up in her hatred. I feel like the mother, just like the daughter there, just has no personality, no actual life herself. And so they attack the dad because he actually has a life and has a personality and people actually like him, right? So that's an easy thing for people to attack, because it's like, oh, well, you have all of this and I have nothing, and therefore it's your fault that I have nothing, even though he's done nothing but be supportive and loving. It's somehow his fault just because they're not as successful as he is, right? It's a completely demented way to live. It's horrible. I'm sorry, but the daughter and the mom are horrible pieces of crap. They are bad people, from what I can tell from the story. I've been following it. I haven't watched this video yet. I watched the first like couple minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, this girl is like still on her bullshit. I gotta make a video. And we're 12 and a half minutes into a 49 and a half minute long video. So I'm going to cut this off here and then start it right back up in part 2. So keep viewing.